Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Through I'm Scott Selections here for Monday, December 26th. For again today's play of the day, quick recap of what happened yesterday. We had a nice winner in the NFL with the 6.5 point teaser, had the Buccaneers minus 1.5 and the under in the same game at 47, and that paid out at minus 125 on Bet Online. Wasn't easy. Tampa fell behind by 10 in the fourth quarter, but Brady did Brady things. They came back and they won in overtime. Tampa, really, really bad team, but Arizona somehow worse, and the Buccaneers ended up getting there. So look for another winner here on Monday. And for today's play today, going to pivot to the NBA, look at a matchup between the Jazz and the Spurs taking place at around 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And for this matchup, we're going to take the road team in this one. We're going to take Utah minus the 5 and minus 110 on Bet Online. Time recording of midnight Eastern Time. Cover reasons why I like the Jazz in this spot. First reason, minus 5, very, very solid line, as every other book has 5.5. So BetOnline's giving you a free point, or free half point, I should say, with no additional juice, which I'll gladly take to the bank. But San Antonio, we know, has been awful all season long. They've occasionally jumped up and bitten teams, but recently that has not been the case. The Spurs are bad once again, as they have lost 4 of their last 5 games by at least 9 points. And the Jazz have been playing good basketball lately, as Utah has won 4 of its last 6 games. Now, to go through the actual efficiency numbers, Utah's better in basically everything, to no surprise. Utah ranks 4th in the league in offensive rating. San Antonio ranks 28th. Utah ranks 26th in defensive rating, which isn't very good. However, San Antonio is dead last, and the Jazz rank 14th in rebounding rate, while the Spurs rank 23rd. So the Spurs are bottom 10 in every single category. They are bottom 3, bottom 4 in offense. They are the worst in defense, and bottom 10 in rebounding. I think Utah should be able to find a pretty solid performance and be able to win this game by at least 6. And San Antonio, we know, has been a tough place to play at for a lot of road teams in the past. However, not so much this year, as San Antonio is 2-7 against the spread in its last 9 home games. But Utah has a lot of offensive weapons. We know, with the likes of Markkanen, with Clarkson, with a lot of the great role players that they have. Utah has a lot of really quality players, and I do think San Antonio just doesn't have that luxury. They do have Keldon Johnson, who's a bit streaky but good on occasion. You have Vassell, who's been pretty good. Besides that, though, really don't have much talent on the roster. There's a reason why people think San Antonio is tanking for Wembanyama. It's because they're not very good, and they're arguably the worst team in the entire league. But Utah has been a very, very solid, pleasant surprise in the Western Conference. And with a much weaker team on the road up next, I do think Utah should fare well in this game. Now, Utah straight up on the road this season, not great record-wise. However, San Antonio is worse at home. Utah is 7-11 on the road, and the Spurs are 5-12 at home. And Utah is also above 500 ATS on the road. So just because they're not winning these games means they were an underdog, a pretty hefty one in a lot of those games, and they did a good job covering. So even with an underwhelming record on the road, I'm not really concerned, because Utah has been a big underdog in a lot of those games, and now they're favored against a bottom feeder in the league. I think Utah should eventually overwhelm the Spurs with its really just solid scoring depth. San Antonio might keep it close for a little while. Total is 235.5. So I'm expecting a lot of points, but Utah might score 130 in this game, and I don't think the Spurs will be able to keep up. You're looking at San Antonio's defense, gave up 133 to Orlando last game, gave up 126 to New Orleans with no Zion and no Ingram. Gave up 128 to Portland. This team just gives out 120 points all the time, and I think Utah should be one of those teams to take advantage of this atrocious defense. Play that once again here for Monday, December 26th. This is going to be on the Jazz minus 5 and minus 110 on Bet Online. Bye, everyone.